Wilson was, trying to get you to stay, and you were thinking about that, right? About the things he could teach you. So as you went through the process, you went undrafted, didn't get that free agent contract. How difficult was that? When did you start kind of having those second thoughts and wishing that you had made the choice to come back then?
I'm kind of a person that once I make a decision, I'm not going to go back on it. So I was kind of the whole time I was like, all right, this didn't work out. What's the next step? What's the next step? Rather than looking back, being like, dang, I wish I could do this. Wish I would have done that, because I can't change it. I made the decision I made. It is what it is. Obviously, I wish things would have worked out differently, but I kind of was just looking forward, like, all right, so what's next? So basically, like, what kind of like one of my steps would have been was if this, if the waiver or something didn't go through, I was going to go to the CFL. And because I had coaches out there calling me, telling me to come out and all that. So that's kind of how my thought process was. And I was like, if this doesn't work out, I need to go here. So
It's sort of a two-part question, I guess, but are you surprised it didn't work out NFL-wise? You didn't get more of an opportunity? And what were some of the messages you got through your agent or whatever about why you weren't getting an opportunity?
I would say yes. I'm very surprised that I didn't even get the free agent opportunity. But and then like after I went down to the Jets and did the workout, and I was competing with all of those guys, whether with their first rounders, their whoever was out there, I was competing right there with them. So it kind of gave me that confidence where I was like, oh, I can play with them. I don't know why this didn't work out. And even like through talking to the coach and stuff like that, he was texting me we're trying to work it out, whatever, things didn't happen. So I guess it I don't really know why it didn't work out. Very shocked. My agent was shocked too, and that's kind of just how things rolled. Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I know you know a lot of the guys here, and so
Yeah.
I imagine you have some friends here, but how have you been received? There's guys that are in a rotation right now that are playing well. How have you been received as far as you coming back? You're probably going to take some playing time from guys.
Yeah. So at first, I wasn't sure how the team was going to react. Like, I heard when they first heard the news, everyone was very excited and wanted me back. But obviously, I wasn't in the room, so I don't know what it was. But then when I got here, even when I saw my friends out on the hill and stuff like that, they greeted me with open arms. They were excited. They were like, let's get it. Sorry it didn't happen to you, but I'm happy you're here. Let's go. So it was definitely open arms, back with all my new friends, or back with all my old friends, and making new friends along the way as well. So I'm very excited.
Take a quick check on the Zoom. Troy, are there any questions?
Excuse me, I'm not seeing any right now. Does anybody on the Zoom have a question for Mustafa? I don't believe so.
All right, we'll call it. Thanks, Mustafa. Oh, sorry, one more.
So Mustafa, you've watched this team this year, and they're at a point in the season where things have kind of taken a little bit of a drastic turn. Just with you being back this week, being eligible to play, do you think you can kind of give this team maybe a little bit of the shot in the arm? Like, you're part of the team, but you haven't been playing. Now you're probably really excited to just get this opportunity while some of these guys might be struggling with, oh, here we go again. So do you feel you could be maybe a shot in the arm that this team might need?
I don't know what I could be. I hope I can be a morale booster in any facet of the game, whether it's on the field, off the field. And I think when I practice and when I play, I come with the intensity that I just always play with, whether it's on the field, off the field, or just at practice. I'm going to be the same person that I am on the field, off the field, and in the game. So I hope that will be able to affect the team in whatever way it needs to be taken. If I need to step up and be more vocal and do things that way, I will. But whatever happens, I'm here to just try to improve something. So,
All right, thanks, Mustafa.
thank you.
This thing seems high. Either the chair is low or. How we doing, gang? Hi. Good food. We had a practice today, getting ready for the match this week. Recapping the game, the thing that hurt us defensively was we had them in good positions for getting some stops, and I think penalties really got opportunities for them to extend drives. We got to be better about, attacking quarterbacks like this. Three other things: we had a couple roughing the passer, we had a face mask, we had hitting the helmet, that type of thing, hitting against quarterbacks. That's, particularly when you do those things on third down, that's not going to give us any positive momentum. A couple of those things, when those things did happen, it usually resulted to points, and that's something I know we can be better at defensively. Offensively, there were some moments of good production. I liked how we came out at halftime and went down this field and scored, and it was a good, efficient drive. I think Brendan, a couple times in the pocket, stayed in there against some heavy pressure on third down and hit a couple of third down conversions, which is something that he's improved on. We just got to continue to keep the progress of moving forward on the offensive side of the ball. And it was good to see that the running game came alive a little bit, which is something that we need to have happen, and we need to work on the other facets of our offense to give us a chance to be more productive, in that area. I think the area that was a little bit surprising to me, we're usually pretty solid with, is special teams. We had a blocked field goal kick in the first attempt. That's not usually something that we take a great deal of pride with in working through our special teams, and that happened in the first field goal attempt. On a positive note, Cole Becker got his first 2 kicks in terms of points that he was able to convert, after that fact, which is a good thing. And then I would say the other part that I was a little bit disappointed is with our coverage units. We know that they had a dynamic returner that has ability to break it from any standpoint on any area of the field, and he did get a couple of returns, good returns against us that we need to get shored up. So just recapping the game of things we need to fix. On a brighter note, Mustafa Johnson's back. He's able to play this week. So that's a good positive note on the defensive side. I think that's about it. Open up for questions.
We'll start with defensive line. 2 things is, as you sat down, I saw Lloyd Murray announce he's going in the transfer portal. Curious if he's the only one at this point, and do you worry about losing more players as the season?
It's hard to say. It's hard to say. That's kind of a case-by-case scenario. Lloyd's case may not affect anybody else's case, and his is unique, his reasons for leaving. So, but that's their own personal case-by-case scenarios dealing with, their own situations. But that's part of it. It's going to happen. And that's going to happen. That's going to be the part of college football until we say it's no portal anymore. It's going to be around. That's just the nature of the business now.
And then just a follow-up on Mustafa, how excited are you to have him back, and what do you think he can bring to the table? Does he look like the same type of player that he was last year?
He looks like a very good player. He gives us a veteran presence, in the defensive front. He's excited to play. Obviously, he feels like he's got it was a blessing on his part to get another opportunity to play. So I think he'll make the most of it, but he'll be a good veteran piece for us defensively that, I think will really help us, solidify what we need to do.
Coach, what's the morale like within the team, and with USC coming in here, a program that you guys haven't beaten before, is that kind of a carrot that you dangle in front of the players this week?
I think there's anything and everything right now that we're trying to dangle to get ourselves to play better football week after week. What I'm asking and stressing with these guys is being consistent about improving each week and shoring up the issues that do come up from time to time, per week and per game, and with the situations that come up. And, I've been through this before. And we've come out of it pretty well on the other end, but there's no skipping steps to the process of really building your foundation the right way. There's things that we need to fix, definitely. And there's things that we need to grow and mature with, with some of our youth. But I think the morale's still pretty good. It's still pretty good. They want to win. They want to be successful. They see opportunities in front of them. And we'll keep pressing forward. That's what we'll do.
So we were talking about Josh Watts last week. He's having a great season, and I thought he punted well again the other night. On the flip side of that, you guys are giving up a lot of punt return yards. How much of that is your coverage, and how much is it, Josh, maybe the next step for him is learning how to directional punt and kind of get it away from the returners?
It's more coverage related, and I mentioned that, in my opening statement, how, we let so many yards get out, in our coverage, and we've been pretty good at that, for the start of the season. So we have to get better at, getting off of our, assignments with these guys that try to hold us up and get downfield. They are vicing, or when I mean vicing, that's talking about double teaming the gunners outside. That's how they, that's kind of how most teams will try to neutralize the first guy getting down at the returner. So they do a little bit of that. And that's, that's something that's going to always occur. But the interior part of the coverage has to continue to get better. And that's where we need to make sure that we can't just rely on our gunners to make those plays. We got to get the interior of the coverage, being able to expand and do what it's supposed to do.
Ty Robinson caught his first pass a couple weeks ago, had a big play against Arizona State. What have you seen on his development in terms of him being a contributor for you guys now?
He's been a pleasant, youthful surprise. He and Chase Penry. Both those guys are factors in what we're doing offensively. They're in the rotation. We have a lot of confidence in both of them. And Ty, he's made a few plays. He had a nice play in the game, but he also dropped the third down pass that it wasn't perfect, but he's got to make. So he's that's part of the growing process with a young player. But he's definitely we're excited about what his future looks like, and he's already helping us, and he's getting better week after week. So we hope to continue that progress. Yes, ma'am.
What do you see from USC? What, from the beginning, and what are you expecting to see from them this coming up with the kind of turmoil they've had, the changes they've had? And from what you see from game film, what do you expect?
I think these guys are really still playing pretty hard. They're dealing with their own issues, obviously, in their program, and just like we're dealing with ours. But they're still being very competitive and working hard. And, there's excitement I see on the sideline when you watch the footage of them on the sideline, and they're supporting their teammates that are playing. So, from what I can see from the video and the film that we're studying, they're playing hard, and they're trying to win games too. So, so they're dealing with a lot of stuff like most people, but I think they're playing still pretty hard.
Carl, you kind of referenced it, but in a game like this where both teams might have some wounds that they're trying to deal with, how important or how much more important does a team's mindset have in this kind of game where they're not feeling like, oh, woe is us, and they have that proper mindset?
Those are all the things that most young people deal with any adversity, right? All of us go through adversity in moments of our lives, and whoever deals with it the best in terms of having the best solution, in their own personal way to get through it, those are the ones that usually can recover the fastest. And we've talked about ours, quite a bit. We don't sugarcoat anything. We don't make excuses for anything. We have a team that we have that's fielded to play every week, and there's expectations that we expect to have, each and every week. And, sometimes they get met, sometimes they don't. But, I think we're at that point where we need to continue the progress and push forward offensively, which I thought there were some steps of progress there. And then defensively, we got to play smarter. There's some things that really caught us in this past game with the penalties that really extended drives and put points on the board. So there's still a lot of stuff that we need to shore up, in every area. We talked about the special teams woes too. But we really go through these moments in time when I talk with the team. It's It's part of life. You know, it's not gonna be a bed of roses where everything's gonna be smooth sailing and everybody's feeling great and you're undefeated and all that. There's gonna be some things you gotta work through. I call it trial by fire. You know, you're gonna have to do that. And it makes you a better person, player. That experience going through it, it makes you a whole lot better the next time something like that happens. So we're going through it, but you know, we're optimistic, or we got a good attitude, like was mentioned with you know, over here with Adam, but we feel good. You know, we're going to keep pushing forward. The season's still young. There's still a lot to play for, and it starts this week.
Carl, I don't know much about setting up offenses and stuff, the X's and O's, but do you ever toy with things like triple option? Do you think about wishbone? I mean,
Ooh.
I've seen a lot of. I mean,
You know, that's in a way, you know, what you're referring to is really what most of these spread systems are. They are triple option plays. You know, for example, instead of having the fullback and the two wing backs, you know, in the backfield, whether they're on the edges or in the backfield, you know, there's a fake, there's reading an edge player, there's whether to give it or dish it. You know, you're seeing really triple option football in spread sense now in today's football, and it's just done a different way. There's bubble screens on the perimeter that gives you to your outside edges. There's reading the edge, whether to take it or give it. You know, every offense has a level of triple option play. You know, Brendan Lewis, you know, he's done a few of those in his previous game. You know, this week where he had a couple big plays, and you see it almost every Saturday. You know, you see it. It's being involved every Saturday. So yes, we do have a lot of those types of things, and we'll continue to do the things that I think that are more fitting our personnel, you know, better as we go. You know, you notice in the second half, I thought our run game was a little bit more consistent, you know, in the second half of the game. You know, so we're figuring out what our players do best, what they know best, what they adjust to best to be effective. So we believe me, we're scratching the surface on a lot of different things out there.
But not the wishbone?
When you said triple option, we do that, but that's kind of what the wishbone is.
Yeah, I was just gonna.
But not the wishbone. No. But now we do have Darian Hagan, who could probably do a little bit of that for us. Yeah, no eligibility. Yeah, I think his eligibility is expired.
Carl, I know you've got so much on your plate to worry about with 115 players or whatever it is, but what would you say to a frustrated fan base to keep them buying into your program right now?
There's a process, you know. There's a process that goes with it, and I think sometimes, you know, we were all hoping that the extension of what happened last in the shortened season was going to be the extension for this season, but you know, there's that you know, thing that we say that, you know, each team in each year is different. You know, sometimes you acquire new pieces and you lose pieces. You know, so some of those, you know, were useful in some areas that I think we had some experience in last year. But I would say for our fan base is just to hang in there. You know, the goal for us is to continue to improve. You know, and to build this team the right way, and to build it with a really solid foundation. There's no skipping steps for doing that, and a lot of the time, you know, when you try to do that, it ends up making it even more of a difficulty than what you're really trying to build within your program. But I would tell you this, that the foundation is pretty close. We're not that far away from being very successful. It's going to take some hard work from the coaches and the players to get there. I've been through this before, so I'm relying on my experience from being in those situations before. But I get it. You know, we're just as frustrated as our fan base, and our players are too. So I don't want our fan base to get disappointed to the fact that they think that our players are numb to the process. Believe me, they want everybody to be excited about who they are and what they're doing. So don't give that. I hope that's not the impression that anybody, that when you hear these interviews and people are talking about, you know, how we're not frustrated. Believe me, we're extremely frustrated. But I also know that there's success down the line here, and there's hope and belief and hard work that's going to get us to where we need to get to, and it's just going through a process of time and who knows how long that'll take. But that's definitely what we're dealing with right now.
Okay, we'll take a quick look at the Zoom. Troy, anything on the Zoom?
Yeah, we have two questions. First, we've got Pat Graham from the AP, and then we'll follow it up with Pat Rooney from the Boulder Daily Camera. Pat Graham, if you want to go ahead.
Hey, Coach. Thanks for taking the time. Really appreciate it. Hey, two-parter here. Just curious, how do you keep Brendan's confidence high through this rough patch, and how do you prevent maybe bad habits from creeping in?
Well, we're scrutinizing every single detail, as you can imagine, of developing his progression, week after week. So we're not letting any bad habits enter into the equation. We're trying to eliminate the bad and to build on the things that require for him to be successful. So I think the bad habits are easy to fix, because those are the things we're scrutinizing on a daily basis. It's really being productive with the good training and development that he's getting, and seeing the progress, that he sees the progress in that too. So, you notice, and there was a couple third downs in the game that we converted where he took it on the chin, and sometimes learning as a quarterback to deliver an accurate pass, knowing that you're going to get hit on the chin, that's part of the job, so to speak. So he's learning a little bit about that process, about being in the pocket. And he's learning outside of the pocket that he has to protect himself when he's out running too. So we don't expect him to run around or run through people, and he's got to be more protective of him and sliding and getting to the next play too. So he's learning a lot of really good things right now. So we are eliminating the bad issues and really trying to build on the good. Did I answer that for you?
You sure did. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Hey, Pat Rooney.
Hey, Carl. Wanted to ask something quickly about your defense overall this season. Obviously, they've been on the field a lot, but have still done some good things. Maybe one thing we haven't seen is a lot of big impact plays, plays behind the line of scrimmage, causing turnovers. I guess going forward, in general, is there anything you can put your finger on what needs to happen to maybe see a little more of that?
Well, you probably, the negation of what happened in the game is that we had a couple of plays in the backfield on the quarterback this last game that were negated because of a personal foul penalty. So we've had like that, the sack opportunity and, things like that. So we are, we're trying to do the things in a correct manner. I think our defense has done their body of work for the most part has been more positive than negative, but the negatives that are killing us right now are the penalties. And we got to continue to fix a lot of things from relating to front and coverage issues with our linebackers and our secondary. I mean, that's the other part that I think was a little bit lacking in this previous game. But I would say their body of work has been mostly on the positive side. It really has been. And I believe, we're doing the right things defensively. We just have to really tighten down the screws and maybe even minimize the packages some so that everybody knows how to make the right adjustments.
Is that good on the Zoom, Troy? We got one more.
Anybody else?
Sorry.
No, I think we're good on the Zoom. Thank you.
Okay,
right.
Brian has one more,
Thank you.
Coach. Sorry, Brian has one more.
I want to ask you, this week you got K.D. Nixon coming back. I know you only had him here 1 year, but you mentioned a lot about his leadership while he was here. Kind of what did he mean to the program, and how weird is it going to be to see him on the other side? That'll probably be more common with the transfer portal. You got another one coming later on this season, but will it be weird to see him on that other side?
Not really. Like I said, the college portal and guys getting a chance to play for your own conference teams that you're competing against is much like the professional level when guys sign with another team in free agency and they end up playing with them. So it's an experience that I'm very familiar with. But what KD has been for us, even though I only had him for a short period of time, I know that he had some strong leadership qualities that I thought, our team a year ago, because he missed most of the season a year ago with his hamstring, but he was always really positive with his teammates, particularly his position group, was keeping them going, and even though he wasn't as big a factor in the season, but those are the things that I think is we were missing a little bit from this year's team because of the youthfulness of this team. But that was one of the pieces that I think KD was able to give some leadership qualities to our team from a year ago. All right.
Thanks,
Thank
Coach.
you.